All right, welcome back, everybody. Time now to talk about mental health. The FDA recently announced a shortage of Adderall. It's a stimulant medication used to treat ADHD.
But what are the challenges that people with ADHD face, and how can Adderall be helpful?
Here now to talk to us about this is Dr. Laura Saunders. She's a child psychologist at the Institute of Living. Happy Wednesday to you, Doc.
Hello, friends, and happy Wednesday.
How are you?
Wednesday.
I am well, and I am looking forward to talking a little bit about ADHD because this is really considered the most common neurodevelopmental disorder of childhood. It is generally first diagnosed in childhood, but often adults now are getting tested or getting evaluated for ADHD that's really been there since childhood and affected them for most of their lives. And now it's having even more of a negative impact on them.
I'm glad that you mentioned that, Dr. Saunders, because I've heard a lot about that, especially over the last couple of years. I think maybe with the pandemic, people are becoming more aware of different symptoms and signs that they could have ADHD, especially.
Are we talking young adults or
adults.
older adults or both, Doc?
Yeah.
Well, actually, my sister reached out to me yesterday saying that there's a TikTok trend about adult women talking about their own ADHD or the things that they do that seem like impulsive or where they're highly distracted. So it does run the gamut. You know, what we know is that the most common symptoms are inattention, impulsivity, distractibility, poor impulse control, and, more common in younger children and actually more common in boys is the motoric restlessness, the hyperactivity component of that. But you don't have to have that to have an attention deficit disorder.
Yeah, the symptoms are very wide ranging because I know that sleep can also be an issue for people who have ADHD as well. I mean, but this is a good conversation to have with, is it a primary care doctor? Who should people be reaching out to?
Yep, you can start with your primary care doctor, and you're right, Caitlin. There's often problems with sleep. Very often these kids need less sleep, so they have difficulty falling asleep, and they're up at the crack of dawn. The reason that this FDA announcement is pretty significant is a medication like Adderall, which is a stimulant, which you think would actually increase the motoric restlessness or the inattentiveness, but in fact actually affects the areas of brain in thinking and attention. But it is serious because there are a good number of individuals who use these medications in order to help them focus and feel calmer so that they can pay attention in school. So it's really about talking to your prescriber or to your pharmacist to get a better sense of when they will be back in stock.
Do we understand or know why there's this shortage, Doc?
I think it has something to do with the manufacturing. The answer to most anything that is out these days is supply chain.
Yeah,
right.
So, but this happens every once in a while that a particular medication becomes more scarce due to a variety of issues. There are other interventions that can be used. There's behavioral therapy and cognitive behavioral therapy. Often parenting skills training can really help, encouraging positive and rewarding behaviors. And don't forget, classroom management interventions and or academic accommodations can also be helpful.
Let's talk about that last one. Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Yes. So really, it's after a good evaluation by a psychologist or psychiatrist or clinical social worker or your school support personnel to really get a better sense of, does your child need extended time? Because they're so distractible, they need extended time, or they need alterations in deadlines. Some kids who have the hyperactivity component actually need to take physical breaks during the day. So they'll give them a special pass to take a break or to walk from one place in the building to another. So it's just trying to make some accommodations to help them be able to sit and focus in the classroom.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. As always, great advice on this Wednesday.
Happy to be here.
All right. We'll see you again next week.
Thanks, Dr. Saunders.
Take care.